guys? Doug Giles here. Little Warriors and Wild Men action. Rich, how you doing, big dog?
What's happening, Doug?
Everything's happening, and we've got a special guest on. Her name, Jeanette Hall. Her game, let me pull up her Instagram page real quick. Owner of the Game Preserve Taxidermy. Preuss Pro Staff, that's an all-female huntress extraordinaire extravaganza. Central Alberta Mounted Archery founder. Put that in your pipe, Tinker Pots, and smoke it. And she's pro staff of Wolf Paw Custom Bows. Hey, Jeanette, welcome to Warriors and Wild Men.
Hey, thanks, Doug. Thanks for having me.
You know, I'm looking at your picture right now. You look like a pretty sweet girl, but Instagram accounts could be complete and utter bullshit. You know that. So I'm taking it. You're a nice, combobulated young lady, and who happens to hunt. How did you turn into an epic hellraiser that's now making international news?
Well, I thought it was important for the public to know that it's possible that Cabelas is turning into an anti-hunting establishment. And my little post, which I thought would be just maybe a couple hundred likes is what I usually get, ended up going over 7,000 likes.
Whoa.
Now tell the uninitiated, because a lot of people, you know, I'm taking it for granted everybody knows who Cabelas is and who Bass Pro is. I've got one that's like 10 clicks just northeast of me. Tell the uninitiated, what is Cabelas, what is Bass Pro, and what you did for them.
Well, Bass Pro is really a fishing store. They do have some hunting stuff, but their main focus is fishing. And last year, they took over my beloved Cabelas. Cabelas is mainly geared towards hunting and not so much fishing. And when this merger happened, they said, oh, everything's going to be fantastic. There's going to be so many great changes. And unfortunately, it's been nothing but garbage changes. And this new thing that they came up with, they did it really sneaky, Doug. What they did was they had everybody sign the contracts in January. Then in February, they sent out a revision of the contract. And I'm pretty big on reading contracts because I don't like to sign my name to something that if there's something I don't agree with. Well, I had already signed the contract in January. And when I got this revision in February, I looked it over and there were two things that bugged me really, really badly. And in bold print under prohibited items on the online section, it said that you could not post any photos of African or exotic animals. And to me, that's a direct attack on hunters. And I really felt that the public needed to know this because if you're going to go in there and you're going to spend money, chances are pretty good that you're a hunter and you're probably, you know, thinking about going to Africa, doing some hunting. And you need to know that they don't want their pro staff posting photos of these animals because apparently they find that offensive.
Now, is this just unique to Canada? Because you're in Alberta, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, my buddy, I've got a wonderful couple that they're my editors, two main editors over at ClashDaily.com. They live in Ottawa, and when Wes drafted this story, they're like, "Oh my God, she sounds so much like she's from Alberta." I was like, "Well, she is," and they said, "Well, Alberta is Texas North, independent, rugged." Yeah. Speak your mind, kiss my butt, whatever, and they were chuffed, as they say across the pond. So here's what I find interesting, Jeanette and Rich, is that, I think it's endemic to every Cabela store that I've been to heretofore in my 56 years. They're freaking filled with African taxidermy. The one here in Austin, it's like, so I can't take pictures of my damn store? Because they've got a diorama, Jeanette, that's huge. It's got like 17 full body mounted Cape buffaloes, lions on top of them, gators eating hippos. I mean, it's got all that crap. But au contraire, Jeanette, you are the bad lassie for posting a picture of a frickin' warthog on Instagram. Now,
yes.
is it a Canada thing? Is it a Canada thing? Or is this trickle down bullshit about to slap America? And have you heard from Dan Cabela what he thinks about this? That's a three-part question.
Dan. Yeah, this is a good question. Now, I have heard from several Cabelas Pro staffers in the U.S. that have backed up and said, yep, we aren't allowed to post African photos, and then they take it one step further. And in the U.S., they can't even post photos of wolves because wolves, oh my God, are offensive.
You know, my rule with wolves, Rich, is smoke a pack a day. That's my rule. So this is Rich. Jump in because I'm about to go.
So Jeanette, so what happened? You were working for them and now you aren't? Did you resign or did
I was a pro staff, and with a pro staff position,
can you tell what that means?
Sure. I'm not actually an employee. I just go and I give inspirational speeches, I give educational talks, and I promote products. And
okay.
I pretty much, what happened was we had a pretty good system where we got a good discount. We were getting really good perks. And then once Bass Pro stepped in last year, pretty much all of that got wiped out. Our discount went from 25% on items to nothing. They cut out all the discounts on guns and ammo. It's almost as if they wanted us to leave.
Yeah, to get rid of you.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I would put in quite a bit of time. Like my home stores are in Edmonton, which is about an hour and a half drive for me. And of course, they want you to come in on a weekend, so they want you both days. So that's 6 hours round trip. And of course, I never got paid for my mileage. So that, it was all on me to pay for that. And at the end of the weekend, I would get a $150 gift card that was only good in store. So, that was kind of chintzy, because I would
that's
spend
probably
8 hours.
Costing them about $40.
Exactly. And then without the discount anymore, it was like, wow, this is really crummy, guys. Like, why am I spending all of my time and my energy doing this and getting absolutely nothing in return? Before the merger, they would put us in their flyers and say, hey, come see Jeanette. She's going to be giving a fishing demo this weekend. And then once the merger happened, they quit promoting us completely. Wow. So that pretty much put the nail in the coffin for me. I said, I've had it with this. So.
Okay, Jeanette, on the other pro staffers that are commenting on you giving Cabelas the big fongula on their now fascist dictates in regards to African picks, are they joining with you? How big's are you like Will Ferrell in Old School? You're streaking alone.
I'm pretty much going alone. I have had probably about 24 pro staffers, ex-employees, ex-managers of Cabelas contact me and say, hey, we went through the same damn thing. We're being treated like garbage. Some guys were fired and not even given a reason why they were fired. So I had a lot of people. I've got a ton of support, but then there's the hardcores. I had Bob Fulcrod go on my personal page and post a meme that had profanity in it, which, I mean, I've been pretty good. I've held my tongue and been very professional about this. And then you have somebody like Bob Fulcrod go on there and post profanity. And then I confronted him about it. I said, well, let me see your contract. I put my contract out there for everyone to see. Let me see yours. And then he completely vanished. He wouldn't have anything to do with me at all after that.
Wow. So on, why? So I'm trying to wrap my head around why a dead animal like your mountain lion that you whack, beautiful cat, Big Tom. Why is that okay and yet a leopard is not? Is it because the leopard has spots and has been featured in like Lion King?
Anything. Yeah, it seems that anything coming out of Africa, people have a problem with. They can't wrap their head around conservation, or that, we go and we spend a lot of money hunting in Africa, and all they think of is, oh, well, you're just going there to shoot up a bunch of animals and you just waste the meat. Really, it's, the misconception is retarded that people can't understand that, hey, the villagers get the meat, but they don't want to hear that. All they want to think about is, oh, you're just going there to shoot everything up.
Yeah, I shot a huge melanistic, big old bull giraffe. The thing was on its last legs when we intercepted him. Once we got him on the ground and rolled him over for the skinners to take care of him, Jeanette and Rich, his whole underbelly was solid scar tissue from lions and hyenas and wild dogs or whatever nipping at him. And again,
Wow.
he was ancient. I think they aged him at like 19 years old or 21 or something like that. Yeah, so he had spread his seed. He'd lived a good life there in the Metetsi. And we took, of course, I took pictures of us processing this thing from skinning to taking the meat off. And then we took them. And if anybody's ever been to the Metetsi, they don't have Whole Foods out there. There's no Starbucks. There's none of that stuff. And we took them to this central location in one of the hunting blocks. And within, I would say, 30 minutes, there's probably, I don't know, 100, 200 people taking every scrap of food and distributing it to all the villages. And I kid you not, man, when we would drive back through that hunting block, we would see hut after hut after hut interspersed from about a 5-mile drive, all of them drying the giraffe meat that I, the hunter, paid for them to have. And here's my question for the anti-hunting numbnuts, the doe-eyed tree humpers. When in the last time you spent tens of thousands of dollars to feed the Africans that you so care for with your hard-earned cash and give them low-fat, high-protein yumminess on the hoof? When? Because me and my buddies have done it for me and my buddies have done it for 3 decades, and we've given tons of venison to people in Africa and also Hunters for the Hungry here in the United States when we didn't take a particular animal's meat home because we couldn't, because we were traveling. They don't get it, man. But
Jeanette, I have a question. I have a question for you. So, do you think, obviously your opinion, I mean, do you think that they're doing this to appeal and appease the way that our society is going and to make money? Or do you think it's money driven, or do you think it's agenda ideology driven?
To be honest, I really think within the next 5 to 10 years, Cabelas is going to be nothing more than a camping store. I can really honestly see them not selling firearms anymore. It seems that their selection is getting smaller and smaller. Now you go into the hunting section, it's not nearly as big as it was a few years ago. I had gotten a complaint from the manager at Cabelas in Edmonton store 2 years ago. And he said that a woman from Victoria called and complained because I had posted an African photo from one of my hunts. She saw it on my Facebook page. She didn't like it, so she called the store and complained on me. Wow. And it wasn't even a year later that I get this piece of email that says no more posting African or exotics on the page. So,
okay, well, let me follow that up with this. So Dick's Sporting Goods, they did their whole deal with firearms and all the stuff, and they are getting destroyed financially because of that decision. So it wasn't a decision, I think, driven by money. I think it was driven by culture and them trying to appease the ideology. So my question is this, because I really don't know. I'm not trying to lead you into an answer. When I see Cabelas, I see people when they're shopping there, they're buying guns. There's a lot of people. People are waiting in lines. So are they hurting themselves financially in doing this? Or do you think they're going to make more money by doing this? Do they think they're going to make more money, or is it just something that they're committed to?
I don't know what is their logic in this. I just see it as they're chipping away at hunters, and this is kind of the sliding their foot in the door to see what they can get away with. And I honestly think that, they think, oh, well, we'll get better sales if we don't show Africa hunting because the majority of the idiots don't like it. So let's appease them, and this will increase our sales if we don't show that kind of hunting. And the same thing with the wolves. Well, let's not let our pro staff show this kind of thing because it angers people. So we don't want to anger anybody. To me, I'm guessing they think this is some kind of damage control before it starts.
Okay.
But really, all it does, it's hurting them. I mean, Dick Cabela must be rolling in his grave.
Yeah, it's what they did, for 60, 70 years. They hunted the world, big African hunters. Hey, Rich, I got a quick question. What I see that Cabela's responded to you, right? And they said, no, or they sent out a general response saying, No, that's wrong. We didn't say that. And kind of, your typical cover your ass type move. Did you see that reply? I think it was on our Clash Daily feature. I'm not sure, but it looks like they did reply and say, no, Jeanette's, or I don't know if they mentioned you specifically, but they said, we didn't say anything like that. We encourage hunters. We love hunters. I'm going to have a hunter over for lunch and tea later today.
The best part is I still have friends that are on their pro staff still, and they, bless them, they feed me information. And the day that they came out with that statement, they sent out an email to all Cabelas pro staffs in Canada and the U.S. urging them to hurry up and post a photo of their statement and an African animal they hunted. Now, how funny is that?
Wow. Well, here's when you shine light on cockroaches, man, they run. And
they run, yes.
I don't know if you saw
It took them 24 hours before they even came out with a statement. And then the first 2 days that they did come out with a statement, they denied it. And then on the fourth day, they said, well, it must have been a rogue employee that wrote it. And we didn't condone that. So they denied it. And then they're like, oh, well, wait, somebody must have written it, and we didn't look at it.
Well, who wrote it? Did some artificial intelligence write it? I guarantee the rogue employee. That's what they said in Acorn when my daughter Hannah destroyed Acorn. They said, oh, that was just a rogue employee that was giving a home loan for underage whorehouse for sex slaves from El Salvador. And then it just happened that they had 13 rogue employees doing it nationwide. I think, wow. I don't know if you want to push it further. Just say, who's this anonymous rogue typist that's sending?
Yeah, I would love
so
to
full
know
of shit, man. They are so full of shit.
Who wrote it and why? That's what I want to know is what was their reasoning behind it? Because as a hunter, I saw it as a personal attack. I really did. I had a lot of people on Facebook say, well, you're just pissed off because you can't show off your animals. And I said, no, that's not it at all. You're missing the point 100%. The point is that they're chipping away at hunting, and this is one way that they're doing it.
And I tell you what, man, if you're a hunter out there and you're like, I don't agree with Jeanette going over there and shooting an eland or a warthog or a Cape buffalo, I believe, you only just shoot whitetail. Listen, numbnuts, you should protect hunting, ethical, legal hunting everywhere it's done, because once they're finished with frickin' Africa, they're coming for your whitetail. I guarantee it.
Well, and I think, just from listening to you guys, I think what it sounds like is they're just being pressured by the PC community, and they're trying to get ahead of it. Do like you were saying, Jeanette, do damage control even ahead of time, because they think there's going to be a bunch of blowback. So they're trying to appease people now, regardless of what it costs them, because they think it's going to cost them big later. But they're choosing the wrong side, and it doesn't make sense. And then at some point, somebody has to start using things like, reasoning and logic and why hunting and conservation go together, and those type of conversations that you think would be conversations that places like Cabelas and Bass Pro Shop would be having, instead of trying to follow the PC crowd.
It's hard to say. I'm so baffled by this email that they gave me that, I don't know what direction. I don't know if Bass Pro is trying to destroy Cabelas and destroy everything that Dick built, and make it into a Bass Pro and just eventually shut everything down and it's just Bass Pro. But it's
so
really
here's a question you ought to ask the wizards at the helm of Cabelas and Bass Pro. It's like, don't fish feel pain? Doesn't that hook hurt them? Who are you to catch and fillet such a cute fish as a permit?
Yeah,
I mean that's where
fish aren't cuddly, and that's why you don't see people out there. Oh, that poor fish, she just, that the saying "ripping lips." Oh, that's so horrible. I can't believe people use that kind of language. But no, fish aren't cute and cuddly, so they really don't garner the attention that.
So you're telling me if a fish wasn't slimy and you could actually extract it from the water and walk it, and if there were more fish movies, then you think they would get on their jihadic warpath and ban that sooner?
You're absolutely right.
Hey, Jeanette, I don't know if you saw it or not, but in the comment thread below our post over at clashdaily.com, and people got to go there and read that. Man, people are bailing on Cabelas and Bass Pro. I mean, they're like, I'm done. I'm done. And this kind of ramifications in reverb that's going on because of this one little document that a rogue anonymous employee sent out on corporate email accounts. Now it's gonna, like Rich said, I've got 3 words for Cabelas and Bass Pro: Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yep.
Their value has plummeted, man.
Hey, and when I would go in there, I didn't spend a little bit of money. I spent a lot of money. Like every time you go in there, it's not like a store you go in and spend $5 or something. Like when you go in there, you're dropping a lot of money. They don't have to make that many customers mad to start losing a lot of money.
Oh, it would be interesting to see what their stocks did over the past week.
Hey, for the Warriors and Wild Men listener, the subscriber, I don't want to send a lot of nabobs your way, but what's your Facebook page? What's your Instagram handle if they want to come check out your glorious African animals and your other exploits?
You bet. I'm on Instagram at Alberta Huntress, and then on Facebook you can find me at Adventures in Hunting with Jeanette Hall.
Any other final thoughts, Jeanette? 60 seconds.
I would just really love for Cabelas to step forward and explain why this happened. Still don't have an explanation. They never did contact me personally, so I'm assuming that, they think that this is over. But really, I want to know, and I'm not going to stop looking until I find the answer.
So you bust your ass for how many years for Cabelas and Bass Pro? At your expense, by the way.
3 years.
Yeah, and they're not going to contact you, and you're not you're not some secret person. I mean, I think I met you initially. I don't know if I've ever met you in public. I'm not losing my mind, just my memory. But Stephanie Watrich, I think that was our mutual connect and stuff. You're a high-profile hunter, and you traverse different terrains and animals and continents. You are somebody who does it scientifically. You're articulate, obviously, much more so than Rich and I.
Definitely.
And yet you're not going to get a reply from us. You bust your ass. You represent our store. You go out and you do all this fine thing for the hunting community. You raise the scientific conservation level to a greater degree. And then when we turn into little pussies who want to ban African hunting pictures or exotic animals like your axis deer or something like that, then we're going to cut you off. We're not going to talk to you. Who does that, man? They are in a PR meltdown, and I hope it grinds them down until they retool and rethink this path that they're taking. But that's
exactly.
Just me.
If you Google right now and you go on Google and you look up Cabelas Edmonton, it doesn't come up as a hunting store anymore. It comes up as a fishing store. So I don't know. What does that tell you?
It tells, it's what's that? Our first impressions are usually right. They're getting rid of hunting. They're trying to, like Rich said, they're bowing and kissing the ring to political correctness. And hunting's on the chopping block. And every hunter out there, you ought to support, again, ethical hunting everywhere it exists in this world. Because if not, they're going to come for your squirrel. They're going to come for your rabbit hunting. They're going to come for the ducks. These guys are tireless zealots in the religion of animal worship.
It is. Absolutely. I mean, I've seen it happen in California. I lived in California for 6 years, and I used to run hounds on bears, and then they shut that down. I mean, that was a great way to assess the bear to see if it was a male or female. Is it a bear the size that you want? And, it's not ethical. Shut her down.
That's crazy.
Rich, final thought, brother?
Final thought. We're giving in to the PC crowd once again. We need to stop doing that. We need to stand up. People need to hear Jeanette's stories like that. People need to get involved, and they need to do something about it. I'm not one of those people that's like, let's go boycott everything. But I'll tell you what, if they don't stand up and do what they say they're going to do, be who they're supposed to be, we shouldn't give them our money.
Amen to that. Jeanette, what's your Facebook and Instagram again, sister?
Yep, you can find me on Instagram at Alberta Huntress, and you can find me on Facebook at Adventures in Hunting with Jeanette Hall.
All right, don't let the bastards grind you down. Thanks for being on Warriors and Wild Men.
Hey, thank you so much, Doug.
Thanks, take care. Obviously, what she's saying is true. I mean, she's just giving the facts of the story, and even when we talk about why, she's not sure why. She doesn't know. Which I don't know how we can know this early in the game. But to me, it seems like the PC crowd's just continuing to push and push and push, and they don't stop, and they're loud. And there's not that many of them, but they're loud, and they're always pushing it. And I think they are trying that. From my takeaway from that, Doug, is that they are trying to get ahead of the game so they don't get blowback later, and they think that financially that's going to make sense later. They're going to lose money now. I think they know that. But I think long term, they think they're avoiding some kind of major boycott or blowback. I could be wrong. That's my thought on it,
No, you're right. And that was a little test of the national broadcast system. It's like, hey, pro staffers, we're so glad to have you for the upcoming year. It's so wonderful to have you devote shit tons of your time for free, not get compensated for gasoline. And we're wanting you to continue that and cheerlead, for our new feckless company that is starting to go anti-hunting. But you just trot on out there. Oh, here's a little addendum, a little by the way.
So dirty.
Don't pitch any African hunting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and don't post any pictures.
Yeah, and then when they got busted, it's like, we didn't say that. Y'all go ahead and post some of your African pictures on social media. You're full of shit. You tested us. Yep. We found it out. And Rich, when you guys come back to Texas, I'm going to take you to the Cabelas. You're talking about Africa overload, man. Yep. It's like a dream place. It's kind of like
out
Victoria's Secrets when you walk into it.
Huge.
Right. It's nonsense. They got busted, and thank God, the Jeanette ratted them out. Yeah, I mean rat, and thank God that she had the moxie, to call bullshit on this bullshit. And here's the question that I have for the other pro staffers, and I don't know any of them, but if they get ear of this, why the hell are you still on? Yeah. Why aren't you joining with her, especially the dudes? You should be caterwauling about this. Oh no, you're just I'm a pro staffer. You're gonna walk around like I'm a pro staffer. Yeah, I'm a pro staffer for Cabelas. No,
here's the thing about that too, Doug. Like she said, she'd go for the weekend, and maybe some of them live closer. But let's say you go for the weekend, you do your deal, and they give you a $150 gift card. On some things, they're marking up stuff 400%. Maybe not guns, but I mean, so what's that gift card cost them? It's costing them almost nothing, right? And then they give them a 25% discount. Okay, maybe that's their markup. Maybe it is $150 value, but they're paying $150 for a person who spends an enormous amount of time and money to be excellent at what they do, right? And so they come in, but the reason that I don't know these people, I don't know it, but to me it sounds like they're partnering with somebody that together they're doing something they believe in. And then the amount of money was a nice little perk, but it wasn't like they were getting paid a bunch of money. It's like, hey, we're partnering together and you're showing some respect and appreciation for what we do. We're taking that away and don't show what you do. Well, to me, that's the see you later. We don't respect you anymore and we're not partners. And so I don't understand why people would stay and continue to do that if we're not partnering. Like how can two walk together, Doug, unless they be agreed? Like
that's what Paul said.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah, and again, the cover-up's always worse than the initial crime. Yep. Oh, we didn't say this. Oh, it was a rogue employee. It's like, now you know what? You're a liar. I don't trust you. Trust has to be repaired. And you they don't know who wrote something that goes out on an official letter from Cabelas to their pro staff. Are you effing kidding me? This is they've got problems, brother. And
like you said, they were testing the waters. People do that. Companies do that.
Oh yeah, let's boil the frog slowly. Shall we?
We say it like this. We say let's just run it up the old flagpole and see if anybody salutes it. I don't know, it didn't work. Let's just bring it down and act like it didn't happen. And that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, again, and to me, that's what's the anti-hunting, anti-Africa, and they have no idea what would happen to those animals. Like I've got a black wildebeest I'm looking at right now. Those things were damn near extinct in southern Africa. Guess who brought them back in raging numbers? Hunters.
Yep.
Yeah, they did. Same thing. I'm looking at the aoudad sheep. There's virtually no aoudad sheep left in Africa. Very small numbers up in the northern part. There's a stack of them in Texas alone and in other places, and they're thriving, and they have been thriving since the early 30s, herds. Man. You know, and again, my whole room's filled with animals on the verge of extinction that the doe-hide tree humpers didn't bring back to large numbers, but rather the hunters did. Same thing with bison, same thing with elk, same thing with pronghorn, same thing with whitetail. There's so many damn whitetail in Hays County alone where I live that there's more deer in this county than there is in some states. And but oh no, the hunters are evil because Disney told us so.
Well, Doug, these protesters are trying to find a cause to make themselves significant. They want to feel like they're part of some kind of cause because this generation especially are a bunch of lazy, do nothing. And so it's like, this is what I'm against. You know what I want to know? What are you for? What are you building? What are you making? What are you increasing? What are you making better? What are you contributing to? What are you... You know what I mean? You're a bunch of critics and complainers, and nobody ever built a monument to a critic. These people are idiots. They're out there and they don't even, we'll die for this. You don't even know what you're talking about. You just get out of here with that stuff. I'm tired of the protesters.
They're like you said, Rich. They're basement dwelling hashtaggers.
Yep.
Here's something that I would like to put across the bow of the anti-hunting cabal is why do you hate black people? Why do you hate them? Because the preponderance of the skinners, cooks, and trackers in Africa that will be immediately unemployed, and there's no Starbucks to go to.
Right.
There's no Walmart. You're not going to get a job at Costco when you're in the Caprivi Strip.
Right.
They are immediately. They're like, well, Rich. They'll turn into, they'll work on photographic safaris. They don't use a fraction of the staff that safari hunters use. And so if you love all mankind, if you care about the plight of not only the animals, but the humans that actually live and interface with the animals in Africa, then you'd be one pro-hunting mama jamba, but you're not, and you don't care about the ramifications because black people or any human being, Rich, they're a substandard to the animal. And as PETA said, a rat is a pig as his dog is a boy. They see no difference between a rat, a pig, a dog, or a human. And contrary to that, there's this thing, what's it called? Dang it. Oh, the Bible, where it says that man is he's the highest up in the food chain. He's the one that's supposed to steward our natural resources, and hunting figures in greatly to that. Here's an example. A lot of deer birth this year, right? A lot of fawns on the ground. Saw them running all over my property. Guess what didn't reproduce like these deer or the pigs, which these sows can throw 3 litters a year, and they can start reproducing at 6 months. Do some math on that one. There's not more trees. There's not more grass. There's not more browse. There's not more acorns. They'll chew that stuff down to a frickin' nub to where they're standing on your porch eating your petunias.
Yep.
You've got to take off. You've got to harvest. And what Jeanette's talking about, what other knowledgeable hunters are talking about, going for the mature species that have dropped the fawns, if it's an old doe, or a mature buck that has spread his seed, and take them out of the equation. That allows for the other herd and the animals to come forth and eat, again, the limited resources in grass, trees, nuts, and food that are afforded these wild animals. And if you don't do that, overpopulation goes nuts, poisoning gets enacted, poaching goes crazy. Yeah, and diseases go wild. But they don't know it, and they don't care, because Simba and Pumbaa on The Lion King, they speak English and they cry crocodile tears.
You know what I think about Simba and Pumbaa, Doug? It's an amazing phenomenon that I learned when I was hunting is my rifle, my 300 H&H is loud. That's a loud rifle. But when I smoke one of those animals, I can barely hear it. It's a beautiful phenomenon. It's the adrenaline so high, and the thing's just quiet as can be, and it's such a wonderful thing. And if that upsets people, I'm glad, because it's upsetting the right people.
You know what's not? You know what is really loud? It's when a lion captures a warthog.
Oh,
and begins.
Those videos are nasty.
Or have you ever watched The Delicate Balance of Nature? I'm telling you, Mother Nature's a bitch, Rich. When lions will start eating the butt out of a Cape buffalo or a wildebeest
while it's alive,
it's living.
Yep.
Yeah, that's yeah. When are they going to start banning that stuff? Rich, I digress. What's the Warrior and Wild Men listener got to do, man? What do they got to do?
WarriorsandWildMen.com. They need to get on over there. You need to sign up, register, like us, love us, comment, hang out with us. Let us know what you think. Give us some ideas, topics that you want to hear about. And Warriors and Wild Men, time to be man of God. Rise up. Get a pair.